And welcome back to Electric Bike Mark. On this video I'm going to be riding my favorite bike of all the bikes that I own. This is the Lyric Graffiti X, and what I want to talk about and why I'm riding this bike today is because this bike features a 3000 watt motor, 60 volt down here, but it does have a toggle switch for 750 watt on-road. But today, most jurisdictions, basically almost everyone, will say this bike is no longer legal. But at the time I bought the bike, it was not a thing, and it was legal. So let's talk a little bit about this, and maybe you own a bike that's similar, that's above 750 watts. So this 3000 watt toggle trap refers to e-bike equipment with high-powered motors such as 3000 watts, which is this one, that use software overrides, menu hacks, or physical switches to limit output to a legal 750 watt street mode, which law enforcement is increasingly seizing as illegal motor vehicles. And I must say that I haven't done any modifying of this bike. It's exactly the way it is, since I purchased it. Even if a rider operates the bike strictly within the legal 750 watt or 20 to 28 mile per hour limits while on public roads, the physical capability of the motor determines its underlying legal status. Because police forces across the country are cracking down on modified electric bikes, understanding why this software limiter loophole is failing can protect your ride from being impounded. Why the toggle fails legally. Motor capability trumps settings. Federal and state laws strictly define an e-bike by its maximum motor potential, usually 750 watts or less. If the physical motor casing is stamped with a rating like 60 volt, 3000 watts, which this one has, a software toggle does not change its manufacturing classification. Classification is contraband. When a bike possesses a 3000 watt motor, law enforcement legally reclassifies it as a moped, motor-driven cycle, or motorcycle. Because these factory e-motos lack a vehicle identification number, or VIN, they cannot be registered or insured, making them illegal to operate on public roads in any software mode. Increased police awareness. Officers are trained to spot software bypasses, hidden display menus, and physical toggle switches. If a vehicle has the instant capacity to breach legal boundaries with the flip of a switch, jurisdictions treat the vehicle as inherently non-compliant. What officers look for during a crackdown? Physical motor stamps. Police check the actual hardware for power indicators or high voltage battery pairings, such as 60 volt or 72 volt systems that are impossible to run on a standard 750 watt motor. Missing equipment. True e-bikes require operational pedals. Vehicles lacking a functional chain or pedals entirely are immediately targets for seizure. Aesthetic red flags. Heavy motorcycle grade tires, massive external battery bags, and dirt bike frames signal to police that the bike is an unregistered motorcycle rather than a bicycle. How to ensure your e-bike is safe from seizure. Buy true 750 watt rated motors. Ensure your bike's motor is certified by the manufacturer to not exceed a continuous output of 750 watts. Keep class stickers visible. Maintain a clean, unaltered manufacturer sticker certifying the bike's legal status, class 1, 2, or 3 on the frame. Ride responsibly. Avoid riding at excessive speeds, ghost pedaling, or using throttles continuously on pedestrian or in pedestrian heavy zones or bike paths. If you want to, and let's hop on and we'll talk a little bit more about this. First off, I got to tell you that I haven't ridden this bike on a trail in a long time. And that is by choice. I just don't think that I should ride it on trails and get people all excited and all that, even though I'm riding it responsibly speed-wise. So let me turn this back on. Let's go and talk a little bit more about this. So, first of all, do you own a bike that has a motor larger than a 750 watt continuous output? Do you care? Do you just ride it regardless? You know, as long as you're riding responsible, you figure you should be able to ride it? I've said this time and time again. I'm going to mention it once more right now. You control the bike. The bike doesn't control you. Same thing with a car. You control the speed of the car and which direction it's going and all of that good stuff. The car doesn't control you, although there are self-driving cars, but that's for another channel, another day. You might wonder why I prefer this bike as my choice of bike when I said it's my favorite bike. It's not because of the speed, but yeah, I do like the fact that the bike goes, you know, has some get up and go if you need to go faster. But it's just the overall performance and comfort of the bike. I just love the feel of this bike, the ride that it gives you, and I like this style of bike. I know this style of bike is the kind of bike that puts people up in arms. They don't like the moped style, even if the bike doesn't go fast at all. They just don't like this style of bike and they think you should not be riding it. But when I bought this bike, it was legal. There was no issues. It was sold as a 750 watt motor, which it has a 3000 watt motor, as I mentioned, but with the toggle switch, which I guess you can no longer use, legally anyway. At the time I bought it, it had that, and when you turn the on-road on, the switch to on-road, it had a continuous output of 750 watt maximum. Yeah, the peak was 15 or 1600. Completely different on-road and off-road, the switch. You can feel the difference. But they don't any longer look for that. They look for the maximum capability of the bike. I mean, when you buy your car and you look at the speedometer and it says 120 miles an hour, most cars basically are capable of going in excess of 100 miles an hour. Does it mean you're going to drive it 100 miles per hour? No, it doesn't. And if you do, and you're in an area that far exceeds speed limits, which is basically everywhere, then shame on you. But when it comes to e-bikes, they don't look at anything except for the capabilities of the bike. So where am I with this? Well, I mean, I understand it, but I bought this bike already and I already own it and I don't really want to sell it, and you can't register it. So, you know, what do? You're in a conundrum. And it's not just me and my bike. What about all the other folks out there with a lot of other bikes that are still being sold today? This bike is still being sold today. But then there's a lot of other bikes that don't even look like motorcycles that go extremely fast. I mean, what happens to all those bikes out there if anybody gets caught riding on the road, even if you're riding at 20 miles an hour? Like, look, I'm not even anywhere near crazy speeds. not even going above 20 miles an hour. But it doesn't matter in the eyes of the law. I guess they see it as it's capable of going that fast, even if you never, ever, ever ride it that fast. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're looking to buy an e-bike, there's a couple of things to make sure. If you want to stay completely compliant, and one of them is make sure the motor is 750 watts nominal or less. I would say 750. I wouldn't try to go too much less. You want as much power as you can get. Even though you're not always going to use it, you might need it sometime. And also, the other thing I was going to point out, let me get turned here. I want to turn in here first, is the speed of the bike. Make sure the speed doesn't exceed 20 miles per hour with a throttle, or 28 miles per hour with pedal assist, if you want to completely stay legal. And if you're not riding on the road and you're riding on private property, you can get a bike as fast as you please. If you're one of the lucky ones out there that has 100 acres of land that you can just tear up, and God bless you. We don't all have that luxury, so. But I'm not looking for a speed demon necessarily anyway. Sometimes speed is warranted in certain situations, but if you're just out cruising around, you don't really need, you don't really need to go 100 miles an hour or anything. We're just cruising around in here right now. So definitely drop a comment in the comments below on, have you changed your mind, and whereas you were going to get a bike that's faster or with a larger motor, but now you're just trying to stay compliant and are going to stick by the laws, even if the law in your area is a little bit different. It's not going to stay where it is now. If it is still a very fluid situation, and so it's going to take another probably year to shake down. I think it's going to take between the 2027, like next year there'll be a lot of changes, and by 2028 I think we'll pretty much have, I think, settled into something. And it's kind of like a battle here, a war going on between different states trying to set precedences for their state, and it's a situation of how many are going to follow that particular state. Like the worst one of all is the New Jersey one. I like some things that several different states have done, like if you could piece some things together. I like Oregon with their 1,000 watt motor as opposed to 750. I like the 1,000 watt better. And it's not necessarily for speed of a bike, it's more for, because if we set the speed limits to 20 and 28, if that's where it's going to stay, which I'm not so sure it is, but let's say it is, then you don't need to go from 750 to 1,000 watts to get that extra speed. The 750 watt motor is going to get you that speed on its own. But what the 1000 watts will do is give you more power, particularly for hill climbing. And also torque. Torque is always good for hill climbing and for takeoff. I'm not a big fan of a sluggish, slow takeoff, but there are times when that's actually a good thing. First of all, for somebody who's a new rider on an e-bike, I think less torque is actually better, so you get a chance to get used to the bike without the bike potentially flipping them or anything like that. You know, it gives you, you know, a little bit more control over the bike. Pretty quiet out here this morning. 9:45 in the morning. I got my turn signal on. One thing I love about this bike here is its as I check out this road here. Okay, lots of joggers out here today and walkers. But this bike has, you know, the style I like. I like the seat. And one of my favorite things is the regen braking. It really saves on your brake pads, and I just like using it. And basically all you do is just touch the brake. On the right side here, I just very gently just touch the brake. Don't squeeze it hardly at all, just touch it. And just, you get used to it, and it just slowly stops you. If you need to stop more abruptly quick, then you hit your brakes. I usually hit them equally, the front and back. But watch, we'll come up here to the stop sign. The regen brake is awesome. It does put a little bit of juice back in your battery, but I don't really care about that so much. I mean, it's a good thing, but see, you can see I'm just touching the brake here, and it brings you to a stop, and you kind of get used to it. You know, I'm one of those riders that's really easy on my brakes. You get used to a bike, and you know how much you can hit the brake to get the stop you need, and how far away and all that stuff. And I try to you know, be really gentle on my brakes so I'm not wearing out brake pads. Some people hit brakes hard. Cars, you know, bikes, what have you, they tend to hit it hard. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video today, talking about e-moto or 3000 watt bikes. And here's the toggle switch I was talking about here. It's right here. So I have it out now, which is off-road, and then you push it in for on-road, and it limits the motor to 750 watt nominal. Out is unlimited, up to 3000 watts nominal. So that's going to do it for this video today on Electric Bike Mark. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. Just hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified as to when the next video comes up on the channel, hit that notification bell. And if you want to leave a comment on this or any other videos that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Once again, thank you for joining me on this video. And until next time, enjoy your e-bikes, be safe everyone, and keep your wheels on the road. See you later.